Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Gray Area here on the Black Man Unfiltered Network. I am Mr. Bennett, joined by my partner as always. Uh-oh. 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 Oh, you muted. I mute you.
Oh, that's why.
This is Sparta!
The Ghost of Sparta, aka of the Sparta HQ Network, aka Peter, aka Panagiotis. Yeah, so my brother, what's going on?
What is going on this beautiful evening? It's too warm for this time of year, I think.
Absolutely. 62 degrees in New Jersey. So I'm loving it. Absolutely. I know they talk about global warming or whatnot, but at this time of year, December 29th, to have that kind of weather, when I'm not so bundled up. When I got back from the cruise last week, it was 22 degrees. So certainly I appreciate, the opportunity to, enjoy some comfortable weather and be out there to enjoy some of it, So, hey, certainly as we close out the year, New Year's could be the same. I'm all for it. And, but I'm just somewhat stunned. First of all, good evening, certainly to the chat. Some of you guys have been with us since the beginning, following our content. Can't tell you how much we appreciate you guys for joining in. So, Milani, thank you so much for joining us every night. Lost in Translation, again, every time you show up, you add value to anything that we do here. So, again, your presence is appreciated, and certainly it's respected. Mariana Costantine, again, thank you also for being with us. Marcus Antonio Castillo, again, my always getting on me about my Pittsburgh Steelers, but I know it's all in love. Certainly, we appreciate your support also in this space. And I'm just kind of floored because we're coming up on 1 year that we've been doing this. My man Eric Newman in the house, as always, man. My brother from high school. We go back over 40 years. So it's good that you're in here tonight as well. So, but I can't believe it's been nearly a year since we've been doing this show. In some respects, it feels like we've been doing this longer. And sometimes it feels like just the time, where the time go, because I think, we have, close to 50 shows. I don't think, except for the shows that we, I missed, just last week. I don't think we missed a show. And I think, we certainly have
day. We've been consistent ever since we launched our series here. And on my network.
Yes. And make sure. Yeah. Just make sure, for those make sure you visit, again, the Sparta HQ network as you come in. Just hit the like button, certainly both here on the BMU network and the Sparta HQ network. Certainly helps the algorithm. And as you see scrolling at the bottom of the screen, Cash Up, the Black Man Unfiltered Network. Consider, again, supporting the channel and supporting us personally. We'd appreciate it and whatnot. But, yeah, I just wanted to, make sure I plug your channel as well.
Yeah, I appreciate it, like always. So, New Year's Eve's coming around the corner, my man.
It's crazy, man. It is, this has been certainly a very eventful year, a lot of positives, a lot of sort of highs and lows, and really not too many lows, all things considered. Certainly with life events that have been going on, but just being able to witness and see them, to persevere through them, certainly it's just been a blessing this year. And, certainly this platform has been, I think, honestly, like I said, this has been one of the places I can be, again, my authentic self. Basically what you see is what you get with me mostly on any platform that I'm at. But I think we've really been able to have some really consequential conversations. And I've really been able to get my point across and share my points of view in a space that is respectful and in a place that is where the dialogue has been, certainly free flowing. And but we've touched we've had shows that have been kind of on the silly side, just dealing with just kind of cultural things. And then we've gotten deep on the show. I mean, tears have been shed, certainly in this space this year. And, but look, I mean, again, we're having the conversations that need to be had, because I'll look at, different content that's out there, and I don't know if people are having these sort of direct conversations that people sometimes are afraid to have, and we've been able to touch on them. I mean, we haven't gotten overly political in this place or whatever. We've treated religion with great respect. Still, one of the highlights is certainly having Paolo Costantino on here, and having that free-form conversation, getting a view into the Greek Orthodox faith. And we've just been able to keep it in a high level of dialogue, a respectful place, a place that, again, protects people. The interviews that we've had, and certainly we're looking forward to doing a lot more interviews, certainly in 2025. And so again, giving a safe place that people can come here and be protected. But I think the Father Costadino show, I think that's probably my proudest show, because of the, when we had that initial conversation, and we, definitely, my personal assurance in terms of how the show would go and how he would be treated and how his faith would be treated in this space. I'm very proud of that. And I'm proud of also when you shared how he even shared the links to our content, I guess in a local Greek newspaper or stream or something like that, where he was talking about, hey, check us out. That made me feel very good and very proud of the environment that we were able to create and still are creating, certainly in this place. So, but what Peter, from your point of view, what were some of the highlights from this year that you remember most?
The interviews are the funnest part for me, because having Father Costadino, I got a different take on a lot of things in my own faith. Not only that, getting deep with CQ on his story, his injuries. Wow, those are eyewitness. I knew the story prior. Me and him have talked about it multiple times, several times, dozen times. I can't remember how many times we went over it. But when he, Angry Elf, that's another one. I really enjoyed that. I remember the most funniest part for me, I asked him what his relationship with the military. It's a complicated one. He goes straight up.
For a lot of these guys, I think the military shows that we've done, we talk about this show being titled The Gray Area. They've lived in the gray area. And so I've always looked forward to the conversations. I know Marcus, I believe you have a military background. Certainly we'd love to have you up on the show. I know we're trying to secure Mandrell for a show. So I think we're planning to get him on in the beginning of the year. So, certainly, so we got a lot of vets. Shout out to all the vets out there. I know we got to get JT on here. A lot of guys who have sacrificed and seen a lot of realities. And I know I sent you and Mandrell a video about some of the content that even some of the guys who have served, how legit is some of the stuff or what have you, and or just being transparent about the things that I have to do. And I know Gray Elf talked about that sometimes you got to do some dirty business sometimes, and certainly we respect the fact that a lot of these soldiers can't share everything that they do in the field. Some of the stuff is still confidential, and definitely we respect that, but yeah, I mean, those guys have seen things that most of humanity don't get a chance to see. Crazy cash rain mindset again. Very crazy year. Obviously, it'd be an election year as well, and so a lot of talk. But again, we've been able to I think stay consistent in terms of the theme of what we want to have, and again, we weren't overly impacted or thrown off our game despite the craziness that was going on in the world. And if anything, what I like to continue in this space is to have a place where people can come in and be comfortable. You're eating your dinner, you're there's other go on TV or whatever. You just want to see just two guys just being just real with one another and having a dialogue. That's that's like I said, that's it for me.
There's some guys I know who actually watch our show who sits back and have a beer and have a cigar and relax and watches us. And
that's what's up. Yeah,
that is sick to me.
Yeah. What a way to either wind down your week or start your week. However you view Sunday. Some people think it's the beginning of the week, and some of it says it's to wind it down. But that's a nice way to do it.
Here, but I'm going to continue being cocky because that's who I am. I still think this is the best show on both networks, the best show on YouTube.
Well, of course, it's the best show on your network. So I mean.
It's not my only best one. All my shows are best, but this is number one.
Oh, this is number one. Okay.
Yeah. So, joking aside, that we had some great. But one thing I realized today, I was driving home, and I was just warming the car up, and I always go through Facebook for a few minutes, and one of our presidents passed away today.
Yeah.
And I realized, holy shit, we have lost more people this year than COVID. Think about it.
Well, I know I was looking through because I think it's People Magazine or Time Magazine. They come out with like a magazine every year. I was in a Walgreens getting some photos, and while I was waiting for my food, I just went to the magazine section. I just saw the people who we lost this year. So I was just scanning through and just looking at all of the artists, the entertainers, the politicians, people that I had to forget. It's like, because sometimes you think, oh, I thought that guy died a couple years ago. And it's like, no, that guy, died this year. I mean, John Amos from Good Times, Louis Gossett Jr., again, great character actor. And so, just so many folks who, you're just like, wow, it's when it's all together. And I know sometimes even at the Oscars, sometimes they'll do that in memoriam. And they'll play like all the people who died and whatnot. It's like, yeah, it's like when you put it all together, it is quite the number of people who sometimes you may miss in this this time, for sure.
Yeah, good example. Bray Wyatt died this year. That was sudden for everybody.
Yeah.
And we lost so many good people this year, but we can't live in the past. Cry over it, but we can at least celebrate their lives and enjoy what they left behind us. So, because there are some great actors that we lost this year, who the Lion King voice, for example.
James Earl Jones. I mean, think about it. John Amos, Louis Gossett Jr., and James Earl Jones. I mean, those are legends in any community, but certainly in the black community. I mean, those are like our kings. You know what I mean? I mean, those guys have put in so much work and content, and so yeah. I mean, when you lose those guys in 1 year. And it's like I said, sometimes it happens in bunches. I know. I think a couple years ago we lost, I think Nichelle Nichols. I think one day, and then either the day after or the day before that, we lost the basketball player for the Celtics, the center for the Bill Russell. It was like back-to-back days, and it's like, man, it's like I'm just getting over loss of one, and then it kind of happens. So they say sometimes events happen in bunches sometimes. And you see that.
Roman Reigns' father died this year too. Then a few months later, his uncle died, his brother. So it got one after the other. Like, she's like, yo, 2024, you need help taking people. You're kicking my balls pretty too hard. The aspirins are going to kick in anytime soon. Like, let's move on from sadness. Let's go to good things.
Yeah.
End of the year. Do you have any tradition every year?
Yes, we do. We probably started this
to be a very boring tradition because you're a sober person.
We probably started this 10 years ago with the fam and whatnot, because a lot of times we get invited to parties, and a lot of them like ethnic parties. So again, I have a lot of guys that work in the IT field, a lot of Asian Indians, a lot of ethnic parties that we've gone to. Now, again, my wife, in terms of food, she was very simple. Right. Italian and Chinese food might be as exotic as she likes to get. She doesn't like to necessarily go off kilter. So you go to some of these parties, and they have like Indian food or some Thai food or some spicy foods that she's not into. A lot of times that she may not eat too much when we're there. So a lot of times we'll be at these parties, and it's like 1, 2, sometimes 3 in the morning, and we leave, and she's still starving. And the kids, sometimes we'll have the kids with us. Sometimes they'll be sleeping or whatever. They're sleeping when they're at the place, especially when they were younger. And we just said, you know what? We're still hungry. What's open? And so what we knew is that White Castle is in this area is typically 24 hours. So as a tradition that started well over, in fact, I'm thinking now it's almost close to 15 years ago now, that we go. So if the thing is, either we go to what's called a watch night service at our church. So again, church gets together about 10 p.m., 10, 11 p.m. And, we sort of bring in the new year in church, say prayers and best wishes for the new year and whatnot. So we do that, and then we'll go out, because, I'm not, one thing I was just in New York on a Friday night. We went to Rockefeller Center for the first time. And one thing I said for sure is, like, unless the weather's like it was today, I don't want to be out there New Year's Eve with all that sea of humanity out there. Like I don't have any interest in that. So, but the idea is that yeah. So however either we go to watch night or we go to a party or something like that, we always go to a White Castle, and we get sacks of burgers and fries and onion rings and all that kind of stuff and whatnot. So that's been our thing for a while. In fact, the last few years I'll post it on my Facebook. Like the Bennett tradition is getting about 30 something burgers and cheeseburgers and things of that nature and whatnot. So yeah, so that's our thing. We've been doing that for a while now, and it's just become a tradition. In fact, my daughter, she was thinking about going back to campus to hang out with some friends and whatnot. So you're not going to be home for White Castle? I said, no, okay, I'm coming home. So she's going to be here for that. So yes, White Castle hamburgers. Again, I don't know the prevalence of them are in different parts of the country. I'm assuming they're a national chain. I could be wrong about that, but yeah, a late night White Castle run on essentially New Year's Day is certainly a tradition that we certainly established.
So, to your question, they are a franchise, but they're a family-owned franchise, meaning you cannot buy into the franchise.
Mm.
So they're all over the states. They have one in PA, but it's in the Allentown. It's kind of out of my way. But I remember going to New York, getting drunk like a dumbass, and going to White Castle. That was my tradition. It was 3 things we used to go for: White Castle, sometimes all 3 too. It depends on how drunk I was. White Castle, gyros, our spot now, and halal food. Those are the 3 places I go. I don't know what's with me when we get drunk. I like fat ass.
Yeah.
But with my case in tradition, I have one tradition. I started about 10 years ago, and it's something unique. And you can tell me, typical Pete is having a big fat fucking cigar. I got it ready to rock and roll. I always have a cigar. Literally, I light this sucker as the ball hits, and I smoke that.
Right.
And it's something I do enjoy. I do enjoy a good cigar time to time, believe it or not.
Now, let me ask you something. Again, I know nothing about smoking, and less still about cigars. But typically, when you smoke a cigar, do you smoke the whole thing? And if so, how long does it take you to get through? Because I know guys draw on cigarettes and whatnot. You have multiple, maybe 5-10 minutes you get to it through a cigarette. But I don't know, how long does it take you to get through a cigar usually, and do you do the whole thing?
I need to debunk a couple of things. When you smoke a cigar, you're not smoking it for the nicotine. It does have nicotine. I'm not denying that. So when you take a draw or a suck, whatever you want to do it, you don't bring it. Excuse me, I'm sick if it's cold, man.
Yeah.
You don't bring it to your lungs. You would keep it in your mouth, and it's for flavor. That's why you have a lot of fusion cigars: chocolate, vanilla, mocha, and so on. So this is actually a very good cigar and a very expensive cigar. Is Windshield. You probably remember that name from Churchill. He has his own brand.
Winston Churchill. Okay, yeah, Prime Minister, yeah.
And remember, he always had a cigar in his mouth. Every time you see him in interviews, stuff like that. So that's one. Now, when you smoke a cigar, you're not going out there for 5 seconds, puff it, and put it out and move on.
Correct. Yeah.
These are between 10 to the cheapest I see them $10 all the way to 35 to 150. I said 150 because it depends how it's aged and rolled, and it has a lot of factors in it. I never had a $150 cigar. I am not that rich. Anybody want to donate one to me? I'll be happy to smoke it for you. I have no problem with that. Like somebody promised me a Cuban, he never brought back. Just saying. But it's something you sit back, like we're sitting back now, a glass of scotch, whiskey, beer, some kind of cocktail. You just relax. I know a lot of gentlemen who smoke one cigar every night to unwind the day.
So so ultimately you're going to draw on the entire thing until it's down to the nub.
Smaller ones here. I have some demonstrate. I knew you were going to ask this question, so they have some smaller ones too. You don't have to go that big. They have one of these, and these actually is like, I call these the mini ones, and I got them the other day because I thought they were actually cute. Let me find them in a second. I have my little gear stuff here because it's something different. And they have these they look like cigarettes, but they're actually
cigars. See, that makes sense because again, you may not have. Cause I know they have like smokers lounges and whatnot. Again, it is to be meant to be enjoyed with friends. You're having a conversation, you're talking and whatnot. But you sometimes, if you just want that, I guess that flavor, for like 10, if you got 10 to 15 minutes. But I've never seen, for example, at work, like I said, as many times as I see people going out and taking cigarette breaks and things like that, I never saw anybody take like a mini cigar like that and draw on it during that break time.
That'll probably take me about 15 minutes to smoke. It would take
15. Okay.
Yeah, it burns very slow. Again, you're not smoking, you're not taking hit after hit with a cigar. You literally have your like Angry Man, for example. I know he smokes when he does his streams.
Yeah.
And he takes his time. He takes a hit. He continues whatever topic he's talking. It takes another hit, and it's for the flavor.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people who don't smoke, but they do smoke cigars.
Mm-hmm.
And the benefit part of it, if you see a lot of people who smoke, are usually businessmen, because it's a great network opportunity.
Yeah.
Going in with a suit or something like that, sit down, have a cigar, have a drink, and talk about business.
Right.
I met some really interesting people in the lounge, to be
Yeah.
honest.
I was interviewing with a company that that did that very thing. They were in New Jersey. They actually produced cigars, and they had a lounge. They had their liquors and whatnot. But it was an IT role, but it was with again a company that provided that product. And so so I was in the early interviews and whatnot. Certainly I met a lot of the skill sets, but I don't think we can kind of decide on the money aspect and things of that nature. But I was certainly curious about that environment in that world and what took place there. And certainly
a crazy question. I know you don't smoke, but would you ever try a cigar? Because again, it's flavor. You're not smoking for the nicotine.
Doubt it. Like I said, there's very little things that I that I use. I mean, if I had one vice at all, it'll probably be like a Coke Zero or something. I don't even drink regular Coke anymore. So a Coke Zero, cherry or whatever the flavor is, I'll have that on occasion. But yeah, not too many things as far as alcohol, cigarettes, or any kind of other stems or whatnot. I mean, an energy drink. I may take the B12 energy shot or something like that. I may take in, but not too many stimulants. I've always been one who has been able to be very comfortable in the moment that I'm in, or like I'm excited about the rooms and the places that I'm in. So if I'm in a place with a bunch of people, I don't get so nervous. It's like, oh, I need to relax. Well, I don't need that stuff to relax me or what have you.
Not relax. Let's say I invited you to come to a lounge with me, a cigar lounge or a cigar. And would you at least try once? See if it probably won't be your thing.
The other thing would probably be the aroma. Like, and I know the cigar aroma is different from that of like cigarette. Like, I got to leave the room. Like, even when we were on the cruise ship, they had like a casino, like a big casino on it, and obviously they allow smoking in that part of the casino. So to get from one end of the boat to the other, depending on the floor you were on, you would have to kind of go through the casino. And it just kind of reminded me of that. So yeah, I'm not big on cigarette smoke. I know cigar smoke has a sweeter aroma than that of a cigarette, but probably even with that, even though it wouldn't bother me too much, if I was around it a little bit too much, it would probably start to affect me after a while.
So personally, when I used to smoke cigarettes, I hated the smell of cigarettes. I always hated it, even when I smoked them. But with a cigar, I know a lot of people hate the cigar smell. I actually like the smell of a cigar, to be honest with you.
It's very sweet. It's very aromatic.
It also depends what you're smoking too. If it's a vanilla flavor, the room is going to smell more vanilla-ish or more chocolate-ish. There's so many different kinds out there. You got to find what is your niche, in other words. I'm trying to say.
Yeah. And I know...
when I first got into this cigar thing years ago, I didn't know what I was doing, obviously. Like, I asked a lot of questions, I got educated, and they told me, the first thing you told me, like, you're going to go through a lot of brands at first because you're going to find which one you like. What kind of one you like, because it's it's like a cocktail almost, think of it. So what kind of blend you like. Every blend is different. You got strong, weak, medium, and so on.
Right. No, I'm asking now. When you are having a cigar, say if you are going to have a cocktail or a drink, what's your drink of choice? Typically, with a no, if money was no object, like what would you, bourbon, scotch, what would you have?
So to be 100% honest, like I haven't tried a whiskey or scotch as much, so I'm dabbling in them now a little bit.
Hmm.
But the factor is if I'm going to be driving or not. If I'm not driving to say have a DD, I will be probably having a Captain and Coke. That is my go-to drink usually when I'm not driving. And if I am I'm driving, I'm gonna have a beer and that's it. One beer, nothing more than that. That is my limit. Because I've seen too many accidents happen and there's I can handle it. No. One beer, I'm good. And all my friends know my rule like that. If I'm drinking more than one beer, I'm not driving. You got to figure this out now. Very simple.
Yeah. That's pretty good discipline. Because the reason I'm asking, because even like I said, the place I was interviewing for, like they kind of combine those together. So again, it was like in the lounge, they had again assorted liquors and wines, bourbons, scotches, and it's almost like those things kind of go together. You know what I mean? It's like I don't like the place wouldn't be one where you would go, okay, I'll have a beer with. I don't even know if they even serve beer there in the main lounge of the place. So it was like, yeah, I'll have a shot of whiskey, Wild Turkey, or something like that with my cigar. So it was like a very kind of sophisticated type of environment. Like if you ever see that like Cigar Aficionado magazine, that kind of like they try to create like an ambiance to it as well as just serving anything.
You just said it. Very sophisticated. You're gonna have a conversation over. You might have a drink. A drink. They're different stuff. But it's something you, again, relax with a drink and a cigar. And the thing with the cigars, like, I'm not talking about the cheap Gaines or Black & Mills. Those are not fucking cigars.
Right.
A cigar is rolled by hand.
Right, definitely.
That's why Cubans are so high demand in this country, because they're rolled by hand, number one. Two, the tobacco leaf are so aged. And three, there are more sweeter taste to them. And they burn very slow.
Yeah.
Like you can have them in the States. There's nothing wrong with them. You can have them mailed to you, but you cannot go to a tobacco or a cigar shop and ask for. They can't sell them. That's only to me. It makes no fucking sense at all. Like you can get them here, but you can't sell them here. That makes no sense, personally. But I think that's me. But there is something it's just like I know a lot of people go out on New Year's Eve to bars. I don't do that. To be honest, I did it one time. I was like, I didn't see a big deal about it. To be honest with you, Paul, because you're wasting all that money for what? So and in the year kind of thing. I don't never got that. I never understood that. To be honest with you.
So you don't. So again, you don't plan to do that this year as your. So again, because I know you said you did some crazy stuff back then. So what do you plan to do this time?
Sit at home and have a cigar.
All right.
Simple. I might get a 6-pack and that's it. I have a beer, 1 or 2 beers, and go to bed.
Now, does your mom? Will she have something with you? Like, will she?
She might have a little sip of alcohol. My mom's a very, 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 very lightweight. Like a shot of wine, a shot glass of wine, and get her drunk. Right. I remember she had a shot glass of wine once, and she wanted another one, and she was singing in Greek and asking for her mom.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, you have way too much already, lady.
Right.
She's never been a drinker.
Now, speaking of just New Year in general, so how do Greeks? Is there a traditional Greek? Now, does Greece? Because again, since they're like on the other side of the world, they bring in New Year before we do. Is that correct? They're further east, so I think that it'll be their New Year's, and then it kind of comes like westerly. So I'm thinking it'll be New Year's in Greece before it is here. So are there any traditions that are in Greece as far as fireworks and different things that go on? And also for Greek Americans, are there certain things that are done? I know fireworks is big, certainly with everybody, certainly on New Year's Eve, but certainly, or New Year's, but I know with Latinos, fireworks is huge. In Asian Indians, fireworks is huge. But is that a big thing in Greece to shoot fireworks off during those or any kind of special things?
Fireworks not they do, but it's not like I have to fire fireworks. Like I know the Americans here, they have to hit fireworks. But when I went to some Latino parties, they didn't do the fireworks. To be honest with you, they did the grapes. You have to eat certain grapes before the.
I'm sorry, you said grapes?
Yes, that was a Dominican thing, I think.
Right.
Because they were literally you have to shovel I think 12 grapes or something like that down your throat before 1 o'clock hits. So I never understood. I never understood because I didn't grow up on that. But that's what they usually do. So yep. So Bossman says right now. Yep. The grapes lasted with the family. So the what we do is two things. We don't do the one because we just don't do it. Is they have what's called New Year's Eve bread. So after New Year's comes in, you make a cross of it. The first piece goes to Christ, the house, and Panaya. Then it goes in order because you slice it. The first slice goes to the head of the house. It'll be me, obviously, my mother, and who pass on.
Nice.
Now, if you find a quarter, aluminum foil, in a quarter, a penny, whatever they put it in the dough and then mix it in. And then when they make it, we don't know where it goes. If it falls on you that year, that means you have good luck for all that year. You keep that coin and you put it in your wallet. It's usually a lot of places will use pennies or quarters, nothing more than that. Not like a dollar coin or anything like that. Some people will smash a pomegranate at the front door. I never understood that. I know some Greeks do that. Some Greeks don't. I literally take it and just go Hail Mary with it. I never understood that personally. But it's supposed to bring the good luck in for the year.
Right. Now, does the Greek Orthodox Church, do they do anything as far as like I said, here in the States, we have certainly in the Black church, again, we have what's called, again, the watch night. So again, and the watch night in part, one of the reasons why it's a tradition in the African-American church for sure is that watch night, I think it was January 1, 1865, I believe the Emancipation Proclamation sort of went into effect at that time. So it not only represented certainly the new year, but it also represented freedom for slaves in that time. And obviously there was several years that had to go, Juneteenth and all that had to come a little bit later. But that was it's in particular it's a play to many African Americans to go to church on watch night as a remembrance of the freedoms that we've acquired, as well as again to bring in the new year. And I thought the Catholic Church, I think they'll also have some sort of midnight mass or something like that regarding that. But does the Greek Orthodox, is it like on New Year's Day or New Year's Eve to have services that you can go to at that time to bring in the year? Do they do anything like that?
Not New Year's Eve, but New Year's Day, the first thing in the morning. That's the first service of the day. Usually there's a regular service, nothing too crazy, just a normal service.
Gotcha. Yep, that's it. I think that's definitely something that because I'll be, because my family will be there, and again I'll probably be running some of the AV there while we're there. So I'll definitely be looking into be that at night. And like I said, afterwards, depending on how late, because it gets 12, 1, 2. Like I said, we'll be making the White Castle. There's a couple of them certainly in our area. So we'll definitely be making that run. But it's interesting. But Greeks also, you're not really, firecrackers is not necessarily a part of Greek culture, at least not in the way that it is in other ones.
I think we have a unique tradition like everybody else does.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, we have the New Year's Eve bread. I don't think anybody else does that besides the Greeks.
Gotcha.
Orthodox, I should say.
Yeah.
But the pomegranate, I definitely know it. Again, from my personal experience, I haven't heard nobody else smash this pomegranate front door.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody has their own little quirks, in New Year's Eve. It's yours, whatever you have. Like I have my cigars, and some people have something else. Everybody has their own little tradition. Like you have White Castle, for example.
Yeah.
So everybody has their own little thing.
Yeah, and as far as for drink, we typically we use sparkling cider here. So that's about as
1 year.
And even the dog even gets a. So again, we allow Dr. Strange. He gets a little cup, and he gets some of the sparkling cider. to sort of bring in the new year with us. So that's the only time of the year we'll give them that.
The one year I was at, I can't remember where I was. I was invited to another Spanish ex friends of mine,
Mhm.
which we lost contact, and Jose was injured vet. He ended up passing away a couple years later, but he so he was paralyzed half of his body. So they asked him to open the champagne. Everybody's struggling, like I got this, like the tough cook I am, right? I'm like, holy shit, this fucking thing is height. I literally popped it. Missed this guy literally by hair in the ear. It took
Oh,
his hat
man.
off. I went, oh boy, I almost killed a vet. Oopsies.
Wow. Yeah, you got to be careful with that stuff.
Those are
Sure.
shoot. Like they're dangerous weapons.
Oh yeah. Get that thing ginned up real good. Absolutely. But I'm just kind of again just reflecting on. Well, before we go on, again, this year the way it's closing out has certainly been interesting. Obviously, I went on the my wife and I had a little getaway with the cruise. Again, had a great time and whatnot. But it seems like garnered some attention. And I don't know, what did you watch any of the barbershop on Friday?
No, I actually was busy with some other events. I didn't watch.
Gotcha. So apparently, I have. I'll just say this. I'll just say a fan. Okay, that paid me some. That paid me some. It's crackling back. Let me
Yeah,
check
it's
something out.
pretty bad. I was about to say something to you.
Okay, let me just see if I can adjust the volume a little bit. Might be up to maybe a little bit cranked up too much. Does that sound a little bit better?
Yeah. Oh my God, it's a 9-day.
Okay, yeah. I think I had it amped up a little bit too much, so I just turned it down. Thanks for Joshua. Hey, thanks for certainly joining us. Haven't seen you up here for a while. Thanks for certainly joining us tonight. Also, good to certainly good to see you. But yeah, so we had an individual that came in and again had some nice things to say the least to say about me. I admit I was kind of taken back a little bit, and so obviously the guys kind of roasted me a little bit because this person's
Oh yeah, Mike's acting up again.
is acting up again.
Yeah.
Let me make an adjustment. Okay, is that better?
Nope.
Still not good. Interesting. All right, let me check this setting one more time.
Boss
you-
wants to back try to unplug it and plug it back in.
Let's see. Stereo's on. Echo. I think I'm okay. Okay, how's that? Still off?
You're good now.
I'm good now. Okay, so I'll try to maintain. So yeah, so so I had this person. I don't know if I want to shout them out in this space, but apparently this person acknowledged that they sort of follow me around on all the shows. So the Wednesday show, the Friday show, the Sunday show. So I was like, I don't know. I mean, the person didn't necessarily identify themselves, but apparently I have been. So has anyone in this year has called out to you regarding, let's say, their appreciation for what you bring to these views? Has anyone kind of reached out to you in that way? Like I said, it was definitely a bit forward, but no question. It was,
I'm kind
It
of
was-
jealous
it was-
actually. I don't have any what I'm looking for. Any groupies?
yeah, I mean, I guess if you want, if you want to call it that. Like I said, I wasn't expecting. We were just chewing the cud as we usually do in the barbershop, and they just decided to interject themselves into the chat with some, again, I would say, flattering comments. I mean, obviously, who can turn down a compliment? I can say thank you, but you don't know. Initially, I was thinking, okay, is this someone just trolling? Someone's got to kind of just messing with me or whatever. I don't know. So I guess I'm asking folks just to kind of watch my back. I told some of the guys if you can, just to join us tonight, at least be in the chat anyway, just to make sure if everything goes down properly and whatnot. Because the person was even asking, could they cam up or whatnot, and it was like, no, we might not do that because they may, maybe I don't know. That was a first. I certainly wasn't. I certainly wasn't expecting that, but it definitely was. It definitely was a. I'd say mostly a funny moment. Everyone kind of kept it humorous, and so I was getting tags. It was calling me. And another thing that happened was again, because as you know, I posted pictures from the cruise and whatnot, and some of my my fashion sense and whatnot. I was sort of posting that night. So guys were basically kind of giving me kudos and kind of running me on what I was wearing and whatnot. And it's interesting because you were talking about the lounge, going to the cigar lounges and whatnot. So I had some shots my wife and I had on the ship that definitely attractive pictures. At least I liked them. And so guys will kind of give me some run. In fact, I'm trying to upload it now just to kind of show you what I'm talking about. But yeah, it was something that definitely came. That definitely came up. I mean, the show, Josh, is still it's out there. So again, this is what I was. This is also on the cruise ship. So I was definitely rocking out a little bit. In the piece. So definitely.
I on your Instagram.
Exactly. So I was definitely kind of putting some stuff out there, and apparently I got some I guess I got some admiration for that, and like I said, it just became a very interesting 30 minutes. So go back and look at the show on Friday or whatnot and go through. And so I got everything from I look like a mafioso, like I'm about to meet with the mafia, or I'm James Bond or some secret agent or something to that to that effect. And but it was just funny that night. But certainly closing out the year to say yes, I got my first. I would say again, groupie / fan or what have you, whoever that person is. Like I said, I don't want to necessarily give them a shout out here, but definitely they.
A good thing or a bad thing right now?
I don't know, because again, obviously the person didn't decide. You don't know if it's a man, and you don't know if it's a woman. You don't know, or however they choose to identify themselves. But again, they made some pretty provocative comments as far as me, and so it was guys, like I said, guys just had fun with that for about 30 minutes straight. So we kind of laughed it up.
So when a stranger guy or woman knocks on your door,
that's the thing. Do I need to watch my back now? Do I need to
strap it?
I don't know. Maybe I may have to change my view on guns or something. I don't know. Do I have to start getting some gun training? Apply for a license in New Jersey or something to that effect? Looking over my shoulder and whatnot. But again, I'm thinking, probably could just win one of the guys who has like a burner account or something like that and just trolling me or something. So I don't know. But
that'd be funny as hell.
It was just.
I can see BMU or JT doing that. And I don't know why I see those two guys doing that.
Yeah. For sure.
I guess the Army and him and BMU, because it's BMU. Come on now. He loves prank. He's like me. He's like pranker. Like,
I hope not. I hope not, boss man. Not looking to get cuffed. Not looking to get clipped. Not
listen,
looking to get anything.
You're my brother. I told you this 100 times. If you need anything, call me. I'm strapping. I'm coming down. I'll bring a fucking army. I don't care who you are. Okay, that was a little too crazy for the show. Sorry.
Yeah. Nah, Lit was in the chat that night, and he was kind of embellishing a little bit also. Again, gave me shout out for for the look and everything, but he was there. He saw it, so again, it was just a funny moment from the show. And no, Josh, we did not watch Titanic on the cruise. In fact, I did do, just because I'm always curious, because people talk about, and actually my sister, unfortunately, about 15 years ago, she had an incident on a ship that basically got stranded at sea. I guess it blew an engine or something like that. So she was on the sea for like several days. And so, her experience now with cruises, like she would like never cruise again or something to that effect. So, but I did look up, biggest like cruise ship disasters and whatnot, and it seemed like most of the major ones, most of them happened prior to 1940. So, and obviously, the Titanic being the most infamous and probably the most with the most casualties to it. You did have, I think, an event happen, I think in 2012 or something like that with a ship where apparently the captain tried to do some funky maneuver and he was too close to the shore and he got hit a rock or whatever and sank the ship, and I think 32 people lost their lives in that situation. But again, from a safety point of view, it's like if I was Superman, say, okay, statistically speaking, it's definitely safer than driving or anything else. So certainly, we didn't carry those concerns on the ship. In fact, we're actually planning next fall to do another one, and we're looking at Mediterranean, and definitely we're looking at possibly Greece. We're still deciding, do we want to do Greece / Turkey, the west side, or do you want to do the east side with Italy, France, Spain, that part of the Mediterranean?
So let's go there, twice. I don't
know.
Yeah,
we're not going to have this argument again. We're
going to have it as much as we want. Listen, okay, I'm going to deal with you. If you can find a person to step in for you this time, not me doing all the work. You got to do it.
Hey, again, shout out to Boss Man. Boss Man, first of all, only missed one show. So shout out to Boss Man for well, I'll take that as a compliment then. I appreciate it. But yeah, certainly shout out to Boss Man for certainly filling in for that time and whatnot. But
here's a question for you. Did you ever get a chance to go watch that episode back when you were gone?
Not when I was gone, no. I mean, we had Wi-Fi.
Came back. I apologize. I mean, when you came back.
When I came back, I didn't go. I watched bits and pieces, but I haven't had like the full show. But I definitely need to go back and watch that because obviously him with his background and whatnot, I'm sure you guys went deep on that. So I need to, definitely get a full measure. Yeah.
The little bit you've seen it, what you think about it?
Again, like many of the vets that come on, again, he has a very interesting life, an interesting background, and he brings a unique perspective into these places. I think he's a voice that is needed, certainly, and not just in this platform, but probably many different platforms that bring this perspective to the table. Like I said, the interviews, I gotta say, just overall have been amongst the best shows that we've had, and everyone always brings that unique perspective to it. So, I mean, he is, what he's doing not only here, but what he's doing with his social media and whatnot is definitely valuable. And like I said, I want to, continue that kind of dialogue with other service members and people who, again, could bring a unique perspective, to the table. Absolutely. So, for what I did see, it was very good. And like I said, I just need to give myself the time. You figure I'm supposed to be off until New Year, so I'll have some time now, which I seldom get. I'll have some time to kind of catch up. So I'm catching up on a lot of things, trying to get caught up on things that have been on my been bookmarked for some time. But very rarely do I get these breaks. So I go in a little bit, but I don't. A little maintenance. I'm gonna put in an hour here there because obviously it's IT, so I got to check certain systems and whatnot. Everything's kind of flowing properly and whatnot, so I'm not completely off. But it's not like I'm going in like a full day, like an 8 or 9 hour, 12-hour day or whatever it is. I'm typically working, so I'm going to use this break time productively to do some things to get caught up on some content. So yes, I certainly intend to do that, and certainly I'll be more than willing in the future. So in the backstage, certainly give my input on it.
Yeah, but I'm curious what your opinion was, because when you were in your absent, non-excused leave without putting PTO time and out being approved and leaving me high and dry, like a little.
First of all, you weren't high and dry. You knew about it for months. I put it out there months in advance, so you had plenty of time. So your HR department or whatever it is lousy, what you're telling me. Because if you put in requests that far in advance and get no approval, then that's your HR. Your HR needs to be improved, sir. I'm sorry. So, yeah.
I remember. Oh, wait a minute! Don't you run the HR department? Oh, that's right.
So if I'm running it, then I'm going to approve right away. So hey, But
I didn't sign off on it. The manager has signed off on it. You're the CEO. This guy.
So you see how this works, ladies. Just so. He's the 50.1% partner in this thing. Is what you're telling me.
50. I'm 98% partnership. You're only one.
So I'm just a peon. That being said, all right. So this year, all right. So again, resolutions for this year. I may need to get an agent. All right. get an agent, get a lawyer, whatever, and we may have to renegotiate this contract. This is reminding me of those those stories of the musicians. You know, the musicians, the big entertainers and whatnot. Yeah, see? You see the big entertainers and whatnot, and we always hear about these people, TLC, all these folks who get screwed with their first contracts, and knowing that they're getting robbed hand over fist or whatnot. So I think we may have another case here, and you're kind of convicting yourself on a live stream. So this will be good content that I can use in my case to prove that, you know what, there's some exploitation going on here.
You
And so yeah,
forced my hand. You forced my hand. You took my hand and you literally made me do that now. So you have your 2.0.
yeah. So I got that. I got new evidence tonight. So again, it should be it should be a pretty
Before
yeah.
we get off topic even more.
Yep.
Fireworks. Do you ever done that in your
Honestly, I've always had somewhat of a fear. I don't know if you want to call it a fear or a phobia of loud, explosive things. So even when I was a kid, the only thing I would probably do, we used to have, remember those snappers? Like these little paper things or whatever, you hang, you throw it in, it makes it like kind of a loud pop or whatever. They weren't fireworks, but you just threw them and they just sort of exploded on the ground. That was about as much as I could handle. But as far as firecrackers, lighting them and running away from them and stuff like that, I just had, a thing about those. Now, again, I don't mind looking at a well-done fireworks show. So again, in fact, where my dad used to live in New Brunswick, he lived right off of the Raritan River, and they would do fireworks shows in the park. We would go to his place, go out on the terrace, and we had like the perfect view to watch the fireworks. And they were so close to his house also, so you really heard my kids would get kind of spooked out from hearing it sometimes. But again, it was like the best area to watch fireworks in. And I've been to the Macy's fireworks show in New York, watching it from the New Jersey side. So I like the spectacle of it, but just like the loud noises and whatnot. Plus I've heard, guys I've known in my life who's had, gotten themselves hurt from fireworks, losing fingers, losing, hands and whatnot. So I know that's gone on. So it's just something that I've never really, I've just never, allowed myself to get so far into. And the thing about it was, growing up, here's the big thing that certainly changed in recent years. It was almost like it was like underground, like in New Jersey, like you couldn't shoot fireworks, legally, unless it, you were like an authorized for some event or whatever. You had to go through a lot of paperwork to get them. It probably hasn't been, maybe in the last 10 years in New Jersey is where they loosened up the laws. Because what a lot of people would do, since I know you're in PA, a lot of people would go to PA and get fireworks. Like me just driving, go 78 West, and as soon as you got into PA, all you saw was fireworks stores and distributors and whatnot. It was like Fireworks Central. So I definitely know Pennsylvania certainly had much less strict laws than in New Jersey. But a lot of guys would go there and they would get their fireworks and bring them back, but it was illegal. Like, you technically, if you got caught with them or whatever, you could supposedly you're supposed to face some prosecution from illegally obtaining them. But then it still didn't stop. 4th of July, Memorial Day weekend, Christmas, or New Year's. Your whole neighborhood's lighting up because people are shooting them off, which is somewhat a distraction for me, because I know my dog, for example, cannot stand fireworks. I mean, I'm trying to walk him like 6, 7 o'clock at night, and as soon as he hears one pops off, it changes everything. He doesn't want to relieve himself or anything. He just runs and wants to get back to the house. So sometimes, in the summers, it kind of becomes a little bit daunting. Well, I got to take him out at the right time, sometimes a little bit early, maybe around 5 or 6, to get him out so that he doesn't have to hear when folks because we have a lot of Latinos in the neighborhood here. And once they start shooting those things off, and then even in the house, he'll go upstairs, he'll kind of crowd, shiver in the corner and whatnot. He just doesn't like them. And, but in the last few years, everybody sells them now. So I guess they lightened up on the laws. Costco sells them. I mean, all of the major stores sell them now. So that's a big change. Growing up, you couldn't find fireworks in like any major store someone had to kind of illegally bring them into the state. So that's certainly something that's different. And like I said, and also another reason why, again, I didn't grow up with them, because, again, the guys who got them really shouldn't have had them.
So fireworks for me, the laws are very strange. I live in PA, but I cannot purchase them from PA. I have to go out of state to buy them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's weird. So, but you from New Jersey or New Yorker or Maryland could come in my state and buy them. And
Yeah. I would say we just saw it, like,
sense.
yeah. I said, and we received them. Like, say, it was like as soon as you crossed into PA, all you saw was, again, fireworks stores and distributors and whatnot. It was like all over. So it's like you figured out really quickly where guys got their got their stuff from. And they would sell them illegally or whatever. The guy would bring back a big stash. He'd be selling them out of his car or something like that. But you would never find them in a store, not in a supermarket or any kind of,
they have some, but those are stores. They're not like big bangers. You know what I'm saying? But fireworks are a little bit of waste of money because they're fucking expensive. You're spending like a couple $100 for what? You fire them off, you're done in 10, 20 minutes tops.
Yeah, some close exits.
But the only one I think I'll give credit, the poppers you were talking about. Now, Paul, listen to me very carefully. I'm gonna get just here. You get double-sided tape. You lift the toilet seat. You put it under the toilet seat. You put it down. So when you say, you
please don't tell me that you. Please don't tell me that you did that to somebody.
Yes, I did. Twice.
You man.
Come on, it's funny. You know what you want?
Giving somebody like a half heart attack. I don't know, man. That's pretty cool. Who again? Was this an older person? It's another kid. I mean, who'd you set up for these?
One was one of my ex girlfriends. She was my girlfriend at the time, and she threw her sandal at me, and she missed terribly. The other one was, I'm trying to think, was it the other one? A friend of mine. I was going to do the King Smith, but CQ looked at me and goes, dude, he has a heart condition, right? I'm like, fuck, I forgot about that. Because King Smith has a habit of eating and running right to the toilet. So I was going to get him.
All right. Rizzo, don't put his... That's TMI. People don't need to know about his digestive issues.
He says it right here. It's fair game. Keyword. That is the law. I cannot promise you anything that happens.
Wow.
Like, I'm going to get you eventually, Paul. Not tomorrow, not today. I always get everybody at least once.
See, you showed your hand. But you've already showed your hand.
Oh, I didn't say I'm going to get you like that. I have something else planning more.
But you're not going to get me like that. I know that for sure. So
you're probably punching me in the face.
So we have to come up with another way. But I get it. Military. I get it. You guys do hazings. I get. I know you do all that kind of stuff. Certainly in the military, it doesn't surprise me that those sort of acts take place. But the
best one I have. It's a little. I got it from Amazon. A little box. It's a little spider jumps out when you open it. So I looked at my friend and go, "Can you open this for me, dude?" My hands are full. Like, seriously? Like, yeah. He opened. God damn you, son of a bitch! You got me again. He goes, 10 feet in the air. I love pulling pranks. It's my favorite thing in all. A good one, if you really want to get your wife annoyed, get 500 rubber duckies. You can get them for like $30 off Amazon. Put them in the cabinets. So when she opens them, they come pouring out. You want to laugh? It's come on, Paul. It's funny. Your wife probably
may be funny for the moment, but hey,
be worth it.
I like a quiet, peaceful home. Our kids call us, we're the most boring couple in the world. And I was like, you know what? Hey, these days I take that as a badge of honor. So yeah, no, he is crazy. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think that's a compliment. My favorite, my favorite one me and my friends should do. Nerf guns. I don't know what's with us and Nerf guns. We used to literally have a full Nerf gun fights in our houses.
There you go. Exactly. Yeah, I got to clean that up.
Hey, not my problem. It's Paul's problem.
Oh, of course, yeah, yeah. So
I
you're
know
you're
that
one to
we.
introduce ideas, and then plausible deniability. It's like, hey,
Oh
hey,
yeah, I'm trying to
it's not
fucking
my
highway
problem.
already.
It's not
I'll
my
make sure I
problem.
do it. I make sure you guys like your wife go. You and your wife are talking inside. I just start doing it on your back turn, and I
Mhm.
leave, and then all of a sudden rubber ducks fly everywhere. Hey, Doctor Strange is gonna have a great time with the rubber duckies. That's the funny part.
Oh no, he's gonna scatter. They're gonna come out. He's gonna scatter. So again,
Oh, really?
he's like Scooby Doo. Anything pop. You open up something too fast, a door, whatever. He just scatters. He's just very skittish when it comes
You
to
know
stuff.
what's
But
funny,
again,
dude?
he likes to calm also.
I got laser pointers from a
Yeah.
Dollar Tree the other day. Like, and every dog I had by my dog, I had Hercules and Goldie. He used to go crazy for that laser tag. I pointed down. He looked at it. He goes, looked at me like, "Ready, dude? I'm not that stupid."
Mhm.
He laid down. I'm like, seriously?
Mhm.
I did it again. I thought maybe I'll come at a bad time. I did it 4 or 5 times. Like, this is a fucker. He doesn't give a shit about the laser tag, the laser pointer. Look at like,
Mhm.
I don't care. You wants to sleep. I'm like, does your dog go crazy with the laser pointers?
I never used one on him, but I know laser pointers. I know people used to prank with laser pointers back in the day. Remember when? I guess it was like in the 80s and 90s when it's like every movie had a gun with a laser pointer on it.
Oh,
So everybody, it'd be like the classic scene, right? You're in a gunfight. Oh yeah, someone's kind of get you or whatever, and then you look down, you see the laser point, the pointer on your chest or whatever, and that was like that spelled like the end of you or whatever. So people would like kind of pull these pranks on you and whatnot. It's like laser pointer on me and whatnot. So I know that was like a fad for a little bit. But that all came from those movies where it's like everybody like laser pointers. That was like the thing from the Terminator to several films. That was like something that people had fun with. But I haven't seen anything as of late. And but yeah, as far as my dog, I don't think he would probably wouldn't pay much attention to it.
Laser pointers are not really practical in daylight.
Mhm.
That's why nobody really uses them. Like once you're in daylight, you don't see the red light. They're really good
Yeah.
at night. Like
Yeah.
we're in a dark room. This is where we're perfect right now.
Right.
During the daytime, what's the time? I think people realize that over time.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Well, Eric is saying that's more of a cat thing than a dog thing. I don't know, but you said so. Your dog, he likes the laser, or he follows it.
her Alex doesn't like it, but Hercules, my last dog, used to go ape shit for it. And my dog
okay.
before Goldie, she used to go for shit for it and go crazy, and like up downstairs or like anywhere you think. And they used to jump on it like trying to catch like a ball, and nope. They go crazy, and yeah, there goes Bossman too. He says the same thing.
Yeah. So I guess it just depends on the dog. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like us, dude. My dog like bones. You get him the bones from the store. He looks at it. He goes. He might hold it and kind of walk around with it.
Yeah.
Then when nobody's looking, he goes hides it. Then
okay.
6-7 months later, you like do spring cleaning, moving the couches, all that stuff. Like what the fuck? You got like 20 bones under there. I'm like, seriously? This is where I'm gonna waste my money? That's why I go to the organic store now. I give them the chicken necks and chicken hearts. They're not real chicken necks, but no bone. It's the fat. They smoke it.
Yeah.
And he goes crazy for that. He loves
Yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah. You give him the liver also.
Yeah. Sometimes I give him a level 2.
Yeah.
Depends what they have. What's
chicken liver, beef liver. Yeah, my dog goes crazy over that. Yeah,
those are
for sure.
expensive. Those organic stuff.
Oh yeah, but you were the one saying a couple weeks ago that you thought organic was like a marketing trick. So why do you buy the organic versus the?
I don't buy for the organic. I buy it for the health reason. Versus the process of like $20 worth is like 5 though, or fresh. Because I know who the owner makes them. They're in store. Versus the stuff like at PetSmart is only 15 and lasts in 2 months.
Yeah.
So you see why I'm doing it? Not the organic part.
Gotcha. Okay. I can see that. I can definitely see that. But like I said, I'm just thinking about just getting back to the again. This is our tonight. We didn't have like a hard topic tonight. Certainly we will be releasing a schedule of content that we'll be having up on the gray area for 2025. This is sort of like a year in show, and I don't know. Do you want to I know how the
we have an hour. You want to drop the link?
Yeah, if you want to drop the link, Boss Man, and if someone wants to come up and just chat up with us, again, we've had people with us again the entire ride. Good. It was good. Certainly seeing Joshua Jones. He was in. Certainly he was with us a lot of the shows early on, and certainly again he has an interesting life, and he certainly does a lot of interesting things. Haven't seen him for a while, so to see him back. But we've had guys who've been with us pretty much every show, pretty much since we started, and to me that's just an honor. That you guys was take the time to hang out with us on a Sunday evening. But we try to keep it keep it very organic in terms of the conversation. And one of the things that we're also again looking to do is we want to have more interviews. Certainly in the new year, we certainly want to have a call in show at least once a month. Have a call-in show where guys can come in, and if you didn't get a chance to chop it up with us, I know Josh would always be frustrated with us because we would be talking about something. He'd be like, drop the link, Josh. It's not a call-in show. So, and by the time we did have a call-in show, it was like the thrill was gone, so to speak. Like it's hard to kind of be in the energy when you're not on the show. So, but we're going to try to again create additional spaces for people to. To join us on the on the show and sort of give their 2 cents in terms of what we are doing. But hang in there, lady. No, you'll feel get well soon. Certainly. You'll definitely getting better.
In your case, Paul, we have people following us for years. You have one nice groupie, aka stalker.
It looks that way now, and so again, I'm just going to be just a bit more cautious in terms of how I operate in these spaces, and hopefully that won't be something that will be a thing that I have to be looking over my shoulder over. But again, that was an interesting exchange. Like I say, you can go back and watch it from the other night. But one thing I want to talk about, I think probably for me the most impactful show. So again, I talked about the interviews that we had. Certainly with Father Costadino was certainly very respected, but really, I think the shows that probably I put myself, I guess, really into, and a lot of this had to do with my mother. Again, my mother passed in July, and we did it was just weird because, again, she kind of passed unexpectedly, but it just the season that we were in at the time, we were dealing with the ideas of parental care, especially as your parents get older, and I know you do so much in terms of taking care of your mom. And then we dealt with the subject of death and death planning. So we talked about everything from life insurance to death plans to burial plots and things of that nature, and burial rituals. And you were certainly sharing some things certainly from a Greek perspective. And I thought those were just really we kind of got into it. And that certainly drew a lot of emotions in that time. But it seemed like that they were probably the most timely shows, given that my mom passed not too soon after that, and so I wasn't just sharing, just as a talking point. These are things that you had to be mindful of as certainly as your parents get older. These are realities that you sometimes have to deal with, and you have to be ready for those things. Otherwise, you're going around. Several times, people never plan for funeral arrangements or whatnot, and everyone's scrambling trying to raise money to pay for a somewhat decent funeral. And we also talked about not only funerals, we also talked about cremation, which is certainly something that is becoming more of a definitely becoming more popular, certainly in North America, which was sort of surprising to me. I thought it would be something more like in the East or the Far East, but certainly in North America and Canada, it is the preferred way of burial or certainly how to funeralize somebody is cremation. It's the number one thing in Canada right now. So definitely, when you talk about cost and whatnot, it certainly that cremation is becoming more of a reality for people as far as a practical way of dealing with that. But again, I talked about how how we were able to do this. How again, if you want a cheap casket but a quality casket, go to Costco. Costco has a special link. You go in there, they got some nice looking caskets for a reasonable price. Again, sometimes these funeral homes, they want to charge you 2, 3, 4 times the price for something that really, is only going to have a one-time use. And so, you don't, so there's tricks out there, there's certainly, Walmart has urns, so again, certainly there's a lot of ways that you can certainly, yeah. And it's probably not they probably work. 'Cause I think the way Costco does it, I think they work with some sort of third party carrier or something like that. They kind of work out some deal, especially Walmart.com. I know they have a lot of partners that they deal with and whatnot. So that may be a service that they offer. I don't know if you could just walk into a Walmart and go to the earn section and pick up one. I don't know if you can do that. Correct me if I'm wrong, boss man, or do you just order that online? But I'm thinking if you do order online, it's probably some sort of online partner that you can get. But there's just a lot of ways that you can, sort of budget for that. But again, the one thing I hope to get out of that conversation was that people really start thinking about, again, end of life planning. That I know we had Arpane on, and he was talking about how him and his wife, like, they just bought plots. And especially, like I said, if you're in New Jersey, if you're in the Northeast, I mean, plots, they get more expensive over time because it's all about real estate. And so, getting people to really, talk about these things, certainly for their older loved ones, but as far as even themselves, a lot of people don't want to talk about will and estate planning, for example. Do you have a will? Do you have a health directive in case if you can't speak for yourself? Who's there? Do you have a power of attorney that is over your affairs?
Explain that for us too. And
Yeah.
I'll be honest, Bo, and I didn't tell you this before, but I'll tell you now. Those episodes were very draining for me with the funeral part.
Yeah.
Emotionally, because I'll be honest, my mom's 76.
Mhm.
For a second. So, but she was diagnosed recently. Her cancer is gone, but
Right.
it's a possibility to
Praise
come
God.
back.
Yeah.
But they want to put her in remission to at least 2 years after it's gone, because that's how colon cancer works. And
Correct.
I understand that. But let's be realistic. That took a lot out of me that day, because
Mhm.
reality is she's not always going to be here. As much
Yeah.
as I wish she could be, I wish I can stop death in general, and all my loved ones or my friends who are so loyal to me and care, I don't have my back, to keep them around as long as possible. But reality, that's not true. And that's
Yeah.
why, as much as I was pushing back on that episode, if you remember.
Yeah. 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 Well, that's the sort of cycle of, I think one of the things that we've also fleshed out, and this was from the very beginning of the gray area, right? We dealt with essentially sort of the cycle of life. So we talked about, again, growing up. We talked about getting married, having children, family get-togethers, family parties. In fact, just not too long ago, we were talking about holidays, and how even today, a lot of times that people don't even enjoy getting together with loved ones. A lot of times that, there's a lot of drama that's taking place, like, what's going on with why you would think this one time a year everyone kind of get along, but there's a lot of times there's a lot of hurt feelings over holiday time. People a lot of unforgiveness that goes on. So again, there's a lot of issues that people are dealing with in just family structures that make the holidays then less enjoyable. So, but the whole cycle of life. So again, growing up, getting married, dating, getting married, having children, having families, and you also have to deal with that component of life, that cycle of life. That the people who I know, I've lost some friends of mine, that in their 50s died too young, had families of their own. Death came suddenly, and then the family is scrambling, and the impact that it has on the children, on the wife, or the spouse. Those are aspects of life, and I know every culture has a different way of doing it. And I mean, we had episodes when we had Black David on, and he was talking about from a Nigerian perspective how they, what the rituals are, and how that how that plays out in different cultures or whatnot. So every culture has a different way of how they address that. Yeah.
I find out through an individual about Indian weddings, and they have a whole different process.
Yeah.
If somebody from their temple, that's what they call church, comes in their last ceremony, I'm like, wow. She's a lovely woman, don't get me wrong. She's a gorgeous woman and everything. But her, the way she, she was explaining, I'm like, okay, something different I learned.
Yeah. From the way they're arranged, especially if you're going to talking about, a more traditional, because again, obviously with the world, integrating the way it is, I mean, certainly people are taking on more modern parlances, but I know a lot of my, like I said, since I worked in the field, met a lot of guys who came here like in the mid 80s, who had, so again, where they did things a bit more traditionally. And again, everything from how you chose your mate, they look at like horoscope is big in when choosing, matching people up, meeting the family, because again, it's like in India, it's more of a families merging more so than the individuals. So again, do they get along? Do the families get along? Or they can get on the same page on certain things? And then the weddings are elaborate. Like, for us, it's like I've been to weddings that were like literally 12 minutes long. In fact, I recorded it. Guy got married in a hotel room. A justice of the peace came down, put his robe on, did the ceremony. I got it recorded. It was 12 minutes. He gets out of his robe. He goes off. He said, I got 8 more weddings to do today. And he just goes off to his next one. But we were in this hotel room. His mom was there. Her father was there. And I was, I guess, posing kind of as his best man. I was a young kid. He was, I don't think he was even 21 years old at the time, and still married today. And, so I've been there, but I know Indian weddings, they can go on for days.
3 days, she explained to me it goes for. But it's a reason behind. The first day, they prep you. The second day is more a ceremony about, in the temple. And the third day is the actual party.
Yeah,
so
yeah. And just the fact that, again, when you talk about these arranged ones, how you can just marry someone who you don't even know. You know what I mean? Like you haven't dated, at least like I said, old school. I think now, like I said, people want to spend some time and, do you like the person or not? But I'm saying back those early ones, like I said, that those, I guess they're Gen Xers. Like I said, in the 80s, the early 90s, like I said, one of my best friends who was actually in my wedding, when he went to India to get married, he didn't even know who he was marrying, because it was like down to like the last 2 or 3 candidates. I think he might have had an idea of who he wanted, but there was still a couple of girls that he needed to interview before he made a final decision in terms of who he was going to marry. And that just took me by surprise. Like, what do you mean you don't even know who you're going to get married to? But again, that was just how it was. It was the resume, the family, the horoscope, sometimes you may speak to a girl for like 20 minutes and be like, hey, you know what? Yeah, I can do that. So that taught me some things about marriage, and that sometimes people put the commitment before love. Whereas certainly in the West, a lot of times it's the love and you hope it's the commitment. But that taught me a lot right there, that ultimately marriage, whether love comes first or love comes second, if you don't have the commitment, it's not going to work. And so that was something that really helped me in terms of my better understanding. Then when you look at it, even from like the Bible or what have you, a lot of those marriages were betrothals, meaning that you knew who your wife was going to be at birth, or when you were a young child. A lot of these marriages were arranged in such a way when you turn a certain age, you were going to get married. So you didn't have any choice over what person you were going to marry. And so this whole idea of marrying for love and all these things, that's a relatively, in the course of human history, that's a relatively new phenomena. That you didn't just meet somebody and say, oh, they were cool. They either had to bring something to the table in terms of their family structure. Again, it was about merging of families, ending wars. It's like, how do you make sure that the wars are ended? You get the king's daughter marries the other king's son and whatnot, and they become a merged thing. It wasn't about, like Tina Turner used to say, what's love got to do with it? That just wasn't something that was at a priority. And so a lot of people think differently now, even Indians, because again, the children of those people that I'm talking about who came here in the 80s, again, for college and whatnot, that got married in the early 90s, and now their kids are here. Their kids are, again, they may hold some of the traditions, but it's like they don't want their parents picking a wife for them or whatever. So look, I'll choose my own. I'll meet somebody and we'll, but they function pretty much like typical Americans do when it comes to selection of potential mates and whatnot. So that that Indian culture was certainly something that threw me for a loop in terms of how they do
one
things.
thing I do from my conversations with a young lady. She has told me the the arranged marriage doesn't happen anymore. At least where she's from, she's Ghanaian Indian, so it doesn't
Mhm.
happen like that anymore.
Oh,
But
that's
yeah,
West. Yeah, that's Guyanese. Yeah, that's more so a West. Anybody, if you're Guyanese or Trinidadian, it's a mix, right? I mean, there's some Indian traditions there, but they function more like these are like Caribbean people, like from someone from Jamaica, someone from Bahamas or whatnot. It's sort of a very different. It's definitely much. They're much more westernized than folks who come from India. In fact, the thing is, they've been there so long. When we went to Jamaica, we met a guy. His lineage is from India, but he has no idea what it is. He doesn't know what caste he's from. Is he Tamil or Gujarati or whatever? He doesn't know where he's from because his family's been in Jamaica for like for decades, if not centuries. And so so for there, it's a different mix. And you can tell the difference. I've been to straight up Asian Indian parties. I've been to Guyanese parties. I've been to Trinidadian parties, Indo-Trinidadian, Indo-Guyanese. And it is a very different vibe. It's a different environment. Yes, some of the foods may taste the same, but not everything is shared. You'll see hints here and there. The attitudes of the men, the attitudes of the women. It's like I'm looking at one thing, and that was the thing. I was so used to being around Asian Indian people, like I'm making some assumptions in my mind than what based on what I was seeing, and therefore I was expecting some things, and I didn't get that. So then I had to, in my mind, I didn't have to, I couldn't just look at them visually and say, okay, that's an Indian person. I had to literally deal with what the culture of the person was, and then before making any assumptions about how they moved as a people. So that was certainly an eye opener as well. And a lot of that came through again. My kids, they went to school with some Guyanese, Indo-Guyanese, and Indo-Trinidadian people. So again, we got into some of those environments a little bit. But yeah, the first time that happened, it was very awkward because I was because I was around Asian Indians all the time, trying to be kind of proper, and they were looking at me like, bro, we don't do that here. so
yeah.
It was very different.
I was just speaking of the devil. She already jumped her head in here, and she had it. But when I met her, I didn't know what to expect. And now I'm learning more about it. Like, oh, okay, a lot of this makes sense now to me.
Mhm.
Before I was like, this is strange. Now it makes sense. That's sometimes you need somebody to explain things to you.
Yeah.
Like why we do things. Excuse me. So when she explained things, and excuse me, I mean, have conversations all the time, and she makes me think of things differently now a little bit. Just education wise, of course. She knows
for sure.
I'm very happy with my beliefs, and she respects and her beliefs. But again, it's nothing wrong asking questions and learning.
Oh,
things
not at all. Not at all. And that's one thing that one of the things that we envisioned when we started the show was we wanted to have that environment again to ask questions when we bring people on. We want to, like I said, I'm an open book. Like I want to learn, and I've learned to appreciate differences over time. So I want to be schooled and educated on some things, and hopefully people can certainly gain some perspective. From me being an ADOS African American, how am I different from those brothers from the Caribbean or those brothers from Africa and whatnot? And we all kind of have our own sort of internal dialogue that we have between those different cultural mixes. Mm-hmm. But again, it doesn't matter. Even if you go to Africa, Nigerians, you got different tribes of Nigerians who have different ways of how they view things. So again, it's like, one thing you certainly learn doing a show like this is like, everything is like you're looking at things to like a microscope, that you're either zooming in and zooming out. At one level, you go all the way in, you're just individuals. You zoom out a little bit, you become a tribe. You zoom out more, you become a region or a nation. You zoom out some more, you become a country or continent. You zoom out some more, all the way up, you become a human at some point. So, so the more nuance you get, the more you drill down, you gain an understanding, or at least you try to gain an understanding that will help you hopefully not only understand them a little bit better, but even in some ways you see also the commonality. So again, the whole idea of the gray area is to not only to explore differences, but also to see how things are similar. They may say it in a different way, they may express it differently and whatnot, but there's a lot of times, I've been in once they broke it down to me, it's like, oh yeah, I kind of see how that works, and I can say, yeah, we got something similar. We may call it something else, but at the end of the day, it still comes down to, again, as human beings, more times than not, we're more alike than we want to admit. But we do have to recognize that how people move and how people take things and whatnot is good to have that proper understanding. So that's certainly something that I would want to have continued in the show. And one of the things that a big wish list I think for 2025 is, again, for anyone in the audience, if you come from a different background, Asian Indian background, Chinese Japanese background, Arab background, we want to hear from all types of people. Jedi Mike, good to have you in the chat tonight. Thanks for coming by, and it was good certainly having you on the Hangout show last night on the Sparta HQ network. But we want to explore that. We want to have more intersectionalities, what a lot of people call it, to find that common area, but also see how people do things differently. And so, having a greater a dynamic, a greater diversity. Again, anybody's welcome to be a part of this conversation, because I think that every culture has something to give in this space, a perspective that needs to be heard. And if anything, what we need to do, especially in these times where everyone's so thinking more tribally now, that we need to have spaces where we can have a respectful dialogue and conversation for mutual understanding of one another. And that's always been something that, as long as I'm part of this platform, that I will continue to push for, that we can, set that temperature and, so that, we can have more constructive conversation.
So the thing I want everybody to understand, when I came to Paul with this, is I made one comment to me. It stuck to this day to you, I believe. I want to break these walls. Remember that?
Yeah.
And people don't understand. Me and him were, I think, 3 months. We were trying to close the gap and see what direction we're going to before into BMU.
Yeah, yeah.
And we did a lot of work. Excuse me. And my first question to him was, why don't you have your own show? And first thing he said to me, I don't be married to anything right now. I'm happy jumping in and out. So I came to the idea, like, okay, so what about this? And I know he shook his fucking head. But I was over the phone, obviously. He probably shook his like, fuck. I don't want to marry something, but it looks like I'm getting married to the show. So, but do you regret it? Question is now.
Oh, not at all, not at all. But I think, like I said, my thing with creating my own channel is, like, again, and any content creator knows, coming up with being consistent and having weekly content is something that I've never quite, because again, I kind of fit into a lot of different boxes. So kind of trying to find my identity in certain spaces and whatnot has always been a challenge for me. But the one thing about what Peter's done is, again, he kind of set some parameters that I can operate in. Most of the topics that we have on the show are basically his. I think I might have introduced maybe 5 shows over the nearly 50 shows that we've done where I've said, you know what, we need to talk about this. Was it in six shows?
Yeah.
6 or 7. So again, not many. And a lot of that, it either depends on what was going on that week. Like I said, the shows that we dealt when we dealt with parental care and death, those were because, again, I was sort of in a space in my life where these things were becoming more apparent, and that I was dealing with them. And then my assumption, if I'm dealing with them, then probably someone else is probably, if you're a Gen X or baby boomer, you're dealing with it on one level or another. And so I said, look, we need to talk about this. But mostly he's provided the content. So I like the fact that I don't have to be relying on, Paul, what are we talking about this week? Because sometimes I'm like, I can kind of draw a blank on where I want to go with something. I can be very passionate about something 1 minute, and then like I'm drawing blanks the other. So the fact that he provides a framework with which we can operate has certainly been beneficial. To me. And even on his other shows and platforms that he does, like I said, on the Sparta HQ Network, again, the Hangout. But even then, I'll tell him, it's like, look, I am not familiar with every sort of geek fandom zone type of topic. If like I said, I haven't watched any Pirates of the Caribbean movies. I admit that I haven't, even to this day. I had to actually get caught up on the what's the Assassin series that I need to watch with the assassin went to retirement. He came out of retirement and everyone was trying to kill him. John Wick. I had to do a crash watch. Yeah, but I had to do literally a crash course on John Wick. I think I watched 3 movies in like a week to get caught up on the show. Lady Naveau was threatening me saying, you better watch those movies. But, like I said, I'm not up on game on everything. And so I've had to sort of catch up sometimes. But I'll tell them, it's like, look, if I don't have relevance to a topic or whatever, I might not be the best for it, or we may want to go in another direction because I don't know how much value I can give to the topic. But having certainly a framework with,
by the 25th, you better catch up because we're doing another show, John Wick versus the Punisher, in the 25th.
Well, like I said, I'm up on the John Wicks. I think there's only one Punisher movie that I didn't see. So I'm much more up on the Punisher than John Wick. But like I said, at the time, like I said, for whatever reason, life events or whatever, like I said, I just hadn't given my time, the devotion to check those out. And overall, I'm glad I did, that I was able to watch it. But it was, like I said, I had to kind of come up to that because that just wasn't something I was well versed in. Some subjects I'm better in than others. But again, the framework that that the gray area has presented is something. See here, look, yeah, see again. Yeah, so it's like, oh my gosh, you haven't. And I was getting that, like, you shaming me, Lady Naveau was shaming me. What do you mean you haven't watched the John Wick series? I haven't watched the John Wick series, There's movies that I haven't seen. I haven't watched E.T. from start to finish. I've seen bits of the movie. I haven't seen the whole movie. In all this time, I haven't seen it.
Get out.
There you go. What sue me. As big as that movie was, just from the time I saw, I had no interest in it, especially compared to Star Wars. Maybe it was because I was more like a Star Wars versus Star Trek kind of thing. It's like I didn't want to share the spotlight with Star Wars at the time because I think Return of the Jedi was coming out around that time also. So I was such a Star Wars head that like no other movie mattered, and it pissed me off when at the Oscars E.T. won over Return of the Jedi. So maybe it was because I was just upset about that I never gave any homage to the movie. I thought it was just a tearjerker kind of movie or whatever, but it wasn't Star Wars. So I said that Laws hasn't watched it. So there's another person who hasn't. So there's another person that's there as well.
What's wrong with you guys? Lost. I thought you were.
So there we go. There you go. Yo, look, we all have our
I bet you. If I asked you guys if you watched Twilight, you probably seen every goddamn movie.
I've seen all the time. I didn't see them live at the time. I saw them later. Like when they got on HBO or something. It wasn't like I was spending money to go to the theater and watch them because I'm not even into vampire movies like that. But I know it was such a hot thing at the time, and I was saying to myself, okay, great, another Twilight franchise or another vampire franchise, just what we need because everybody and their mom was coming up with a vampire movie, just like the zombie movies, just like the zombie movies. So, but I like to take now. Eric, he can't stand Twilight. But I liked it. I thought it was a different take on things and whatnot. And I liked the rivalry with the shapeshifters and all that. I thought it was cool, but it's not for everybody. It's either like it's a love-hate thing with it. And, so I, when I get an opportunity, like I said, I took part to, kind of get caught up on it. But just again, having the structure. And I think we're pretty good on where we want to go with the show. Like I said, certainly in 2025, yes, I certainly is going to be season their stomach than Annie Hall. But and look, and Annie Hall won Oscars left, right, and center. I mean, so again, that was like the biggest. I think Annie Hall beat out Star Wars for Best Picture or something like that. That year, right? Something like that. So again, I'm like, what's Annie Hall? I never saw it. I never saw Citizen Kane either, which is said to be the greatest movie of all time. Never watched Citizen Kane. I have no desire to see it. but having that, I think we're well poised, certainly to take this to the next level. Certainly in 2025. Again, more guests, more cultural exchange, more diversity, and again, just creating an environment where people can simply be themselves, and we can just sort of chop it up a little bit and show the humanity how to have a proper and respectful conversation. I'm always certainly willing to engage in that kind of environment, and certainly this platform provides it. So I'm very happy, but again, I'm still scratching my head. It's like, how we do nearly 50 shows. It just blows my mind that we got almost a year into this thing, but it's been an enjoyable ride, and certainly something that a lot of times I'm scrambling to get here, but certainly wouldn't miss it. And again, I think we've given some very impactful shows that, certainly we encourage anyone to go back and, either on the Black Man Unfiltered Network, on the Sparta HQ Network, go back and watch some prior shows. And, there may be something of interest. And also, what the nice thing about this show also, again, we're both P and I, we're both respectful of each other's time, because again, we're still working professionals. We keep this show basically to 2 hours. It's a hard stop. 2 hours, so we don't go into the ad. So shout out to the guys who do. Yeah,
it's rare when we go a little over, but we do sometimes.
But
if you think we're just getting warmed up, you're fucking wrong. We're just getting started. Next year is going to be a kick-ass ride and a kick-ass. I'm gonna have some bombs coming your way, guys. Tune in. You don't want to miss this shit. You want to be part of the journey. You don't want to be left behind. Like, you go, hey, you see what these guys do? No, you want to watch it, and you say, whoa. I'm breaking these fucking walls down. Simple as that. Me and Paul are going to break these walls down. Only people around me are legends. Paul's a legend in my eyes.
Appreciate you.
I mean that, Paul. And he's a very respectful person. Just he wish he has my hair. That's the only thing. He needs to look jealous. Yeah, okay. But
shout out to the 7B Network. We closed out the show. We closed out the barbershop. It was only the 7Bs. All right. Trey Ferg, R. Payne, we were closing out the show then. So yeah, 7Bs. The 7Bs are gonna be present.
This shit back. I'm growing the whole thing back again. For another donation. But seriously, joking aside, I think we conquered a lot for the first year.
We did.
We have done a lot in the year. I'm just getting warmed up. I have some guests coming on board. We have some guests. Excuse me. We have some guests. I'm working on some things, and I'm not going to stop here. So these walls are down, and we respect each other as human beings, not a different race, a different culture, different nothing. That disgusts me every time I hear that.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter where you come from, you respect each other.
Mm-hmm.
I felt the last couple of years we went backwards in time. We're going back to the times like you have to sit at separate tables. You have to talk to your own people. Fuck that shit.
Mm.
We're all from end of the day. You take my knife right here. This is why I had it actually originally here to say this. I take this knife and slice my arm. What comes out of my arm, Paul?
Red blood.
What comes out of your arm if you slice it?
Same thing.
That's
and we might even have what's your blood type?
I have no idea. I have check
dude. That. You should know that.
Don't get on my ass too about
because see, so I'm gonna get on you. I'm gonna get on you again. You should know CPR.
I know.
You should know your blood type. And because who knows, there might be a situation where we're together. Something happens to either one of us. Whether hey, I'm O positive. I'm O positive, by the way. So again, if you're O positive, hey, I can hook you up. You know what I mean? There you go. Oh, shout out. See, now we know now. Boss man, he's O positive also. So if we're all together, so you got two. So again, find out your blood type. I think that's important.
If I give you if we're both, let's say for argument's sake, we're same blood type. For argument's sake, I give you some of my blood. That means you might grow a good beard and hair.
No, I don't think it works that way. But if I give you the wrong one, then that could be problematic.
It'd be funny if it did work like that. I donate some blood to you. A few months
like Spider-Man, Peter Parker, or something.
or was that Craven? Now, are you going to see that Craven movie? I don't know. I think I can wait until I think I can wait till the streaming for that one. But apparently he got some tiger blood or something like that, and that's how he got all those powers or
From what
something.
I
So
heard, the review from CQ from Pop Culture Warrior, it was what was I looking for?
really,
That bad.
yeah, Marvel's kind of lost some of its mojo, man. It's and that movie I think it was delayed coming out. It should have came out like a year or two ago, right?
Yeah, that's the old directors who are doing it, not the new ones coming in. So this year might be a little better year for Marvel and Disney. Same thing with Star Wars stuff too.
Right.
So let's see what happens. But I'm gonna when it comes to streaming. What I'm actually gonna start watching, and we interviewed the person, if you remember, Next Level. I have it on my list on Prime, and I can't wait to see it. So I know Jared Mike did a review on it. I actually like my guys to actually watch it, and we all together talk about it when time comes. So you down, Paul?
Yeah, we can certainly do that.
I'll reach out to David and
and send me the link for the you said it's on Netflix?
No, Amazon Prime.
Oh, okay, I got that. Yeah, so I could definitely
yeah, it's Next Level. That's what it is. If you remember, I interviewed the person. Yeah.
And Eric, he's not a fan of the Deadpool series yet.
Really? Everybody likes Deadpool.
He has eclectic taste. What can I tell you?
You think?
But he's certainly he's a gamer though. He's certainly he Eric's forgotten more than I know, but he doesn't, like I say, he doesn't rock with everybody though. So it's
Eric is a unique, special individual that I am glad to make a friend out of him.
Very much so.
Good way.
I said, very loyal guy, give you the shirt off his back, and he's just been a ride or die for me. Like I said, for a lot of years since I moved into into the community that we moved into. He's one of the first guys who embraced me, and so we go a long way together for sure. But yeah, definitely a guy. If he's your friend, he's a ride or die type of dude. So good.
One thing I'm not gonna give up on Eric. He gets it's like a couple of gears. The cheap shit. I don't think it's expensive, so he started coming on our shows so he can kick it with us too. That's the next part, and he broke the.
We'll see. There's a few people we need to get on. So again, goals for 2025. All right, so if we can get Eric on the show, we can certainly do that. We got to get Catalia on the show. All right, I'm not seeing her tonight, but again, hopefully she's doing well. But Catalia, we got to get on. Lady Navoa did we actually have Lady Navoa one show?
We talked about having her on, but we never.
We got to get her on. Okay, so Lady, so again, get well soon, so that we can certainly have you on the show. And so just so again, we want to definitely have a space that is, again, especially for those who've ridden with us, and I also saw boss the Snake Fiend, Braxton the Snake Fiend. He's in here tonight. Shout out to you again. He's been with us for a lot of these shows and whatnot. So again, he's added a lot of content to the table. So definitely appreciate him stopping on through tonight. And again, we get it. People are busy. If you come in here, hit the like button when you come in. If you got to hang with us for a few minutes while you're doing something, just kicking it, but we get it. Again, especially Sunday nights, preparing for Monday. Like I said, I'll be having a couple more days off where I need to go sort of back in for real to the office. So it just gives me a time to get some things straight as well. But yeah, we just want to have a like I said, a peaceful place that we can have this and again, talk from the real. And again, also want to give credit to the chat, because again, you guys have had some very engaging conversations, especially the ones when we're talking about family and family get-togethers and whatnot, and some of the drama that goes on. Certainly, you guys certainly give a lot of content to the space as well, and so we couldn't do this without you guys contributing to it. And so certainly we ask you and thank you certainly for your continued support and some of the things that we're going to be launching certainly in the new year. But with that, let's talk about, since we got 10 minutes left in the show, any resolutions that you have for the new year.
I don't believe in
show, just not just with the show, but just in life in general. Anything that you got going on that you
I don't believe in evolutions, because nobody stick with them usually. They start for first 3 months, maybe 6 tops, and then drop off it. Only goal I have for this year, be a kick ass, better, crazy ass Greek Spartan, and make more people happy and my friends in the process.
Mm.
I want to be healthy. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
From you,
Yeah, it's the basics.
to Eric, to Black David, to Lost, to CQ, to Angry Elf, to our little weasel, Black Baba, all you guys.
No, I haven't seen the Mufasu movie yet. I mean, it looked good. I mean, visually it looks stunning, but I he's gonna put his 2 cents on it. So again, I haven't seen it, but again, I don't think I plan to see it anyway. Like I said, very few movies. I'm trying to remember the last movie that my wife and I saw. It might have been like Bad Boys for Life or something like that. That might have been like the last.
The other night, and I was surprised it was good.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna hate me for this. The Rock, Red One. When it first started out, it sounds like, what the hell am I watching? Is this a Christmas movie or a military movie?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to spoil it for anybody. It's a movie. It's on Amazon Prime, so you can watch it for free.
Okay.
So, but when you could get into it, like towards the end, or like after the whole thing is completed,
Mhm.
you're gonna look at your wife or whoever you watch, like, this was like a good fucking movie.
Yeah.
And like you were surprised how good it is. Yep. Yeah. You said it.
Red One was great. Okay. All right. So
Yeah.
I got to put that on the list. I got to put that on the
It was
list.
actually.
So it's,
You'd be surprised how good it is.
okay. And it's Dwayne Johnson. He's
Yeah.
okay.
And the guy who plays
Because again, I don't rock with a lot. I mean, I'm trying to think, like a movie that I really enjoyed that he did. It might have been The Game Plan, to be honest with you. Everything else is kind of like, like it's okay, but nothing that's like, oh my,
one, actually.
yeah.
If for me
But
to
still, to
recommend,
this
it's
day,
not there.
he hasn't had anything that's like the Terminator or Predator or
Not
True
yet.
Lies. Like, I don't think he's had like the blockbuster that really sets him apart. Like, he does a lot of stuff based on volume, but has he really I know some people like the Jumanji series, movies that he's in, or certainly the Fast and the Furious franchise when he's a part of that. I think people liked him in that, but I still don't think he's gotten his career defining role. You know what I mean? Like I said, Chris Evans. Okay, I definitely need to check it out. But like I said, like Arnold had a string of them: Predator, Terminator, True Lies. Even something like Total Recall. It's like he hasn't had that kind of film that like was the blockbuster of the summer or something like that. So I still think he needs to try to find that that piece. But I think probably his apex might have been his role in the Fast franchise. I think. What do you think? He's done something faster with The Rock? No, and certainly I don't think that was a theater release. That was a theater release. I don't recall seeing. Again.
All Fast and Furious movies have come only theater. There's no right to digital or to DVD like you're thinking. That was all theaters. And he did a really good job. Haas and Sean. That was a good one too. And somebody there, I'm gonna beat your ass like a drum, whatever he said. That's hilarious. And I don't laugh.
The spinoff he did, that was pretty good. But even then, he still hasn't had that definitive title that he's either the character or the movie that really, like I said, anything that Arnold's done. Because remember when he came in, when he had that one that movie, it was like the Roundup or something like that, or the where Arnold made like a cameo in the movie. It was almost like Arnold was kind of passing the torch to him in the film. Like he was supposed to be the heir apparent, but he still hasn't had that role yet. So I'm hoping that he can, he can have something. I like the first Venom movie. If you talk about the MCU Venom, yeah, the first, I didn't see the sequel with the Savage yet. I haven't had a chance, but I saw Venom in
quick search. Paul, his best movie to date is Hercules from 20 to 14 when he played that. The second one is Rampage. Centurion's Tangents in third place. Fast and Furious is in fourth, and so on.
Yeah, so that's 10 years ago. That's my point. I mean, it's 10 years ago.
I understand. I just wanted to bring that up to you really fast.
Mm-hmm.
He does
Mhm.
have some decent movies.
Mhm.
The one I haven't seen yet is Red Note. That's all I'm actually might watch tomorrow. I'm off, but there's some good movies out there he has. But I
Mhm.
mean, blockbusters like fucking Arnold, but also
Yeah, Scorpion King. That was like an early role that he had, and then I think he was in a sequel as well. But I mean, yeah, he like I said, he didn't have, like I said, the movie that carried the summer that everybody needed to see or stream or whatever it was. I don't think he's had that.
Not yet. Yeah, keep that in mind. His career's not over yet. He's not retiring.
He, look, he looks phenomenal. He's 50. What? He's 52 now.
I'll tell you right now. Give me 1 second.
I think I think he was born in 72. I believe. So I think he's like 52 years old at this point. So again, and everything.
72. He was born.
Yeah. So again, it's like, but how you have a window in order to kind of make your thing. Stallone had it. Schwarzenegger had it. Bruce Willis had it. But if you don't hit your mark in that time that you're in, that's a tough one to kind of get it later. And he's going to get to that age where it's like, was he and he was never part of the what's the one where they have all the actors, Stallone and Schwarzenegger and all those guys.
Expendables.
Yeah. Was he in the Expendables franchise?
Rock?
Yeah.
Rock, no, he's too they were usually one of the older actors, the ones that are like pretty much like about to kick the bucket.
Okay, so I'm saying he might possibly be in that space. Jet Li was in the Expendables, yeah. So he might be working himself in the Expendable space at some point in time. But as far as being a mainstream top actor, I thought that the DCU with the Shazam what's his name Black Adam. I thought they may try to do something with that, with especially at the end when Superman kind of makes at the end of the movie. I thought they were going to try to do something with that. I liked it, I think, better than most, but it didn't go anywhere, and now they're kind of doing a reboot there.
Did you see a trailer for the new reboot?
I did.
What'd you think?
Well, I think just the overall, you're rebooting again. It's still, to me, I know it was 10 years ago plus when Man of Steel came out, but it still seems too fresh to me,
So here's my issue with the trailer release. There's a lot going on. You have Crypto, you have Green Lantern, and you got a lot going on. I think it's going to be oversaturated with heroes.
Especially if they're trying to do a reboot. So you still got to tell the Krypton story and all that. That took certainly in the first film.
Or if they do something like Spider-Man with this new kid, they didn't do an origin story. They just went right into it. So you keep that in take.
Well, technically, again, the Spider-Man, he came in through the Avengers, right? Yeah, the Civil War. So they kind of
similar concept.
They kind of did a little something, but again, he was already kind of after that. I kind of like what they did when he did get his first release. They actually started it from the battle at the airport, kind of speak. So it's they kind of threw you into it a little bit. But yeah, it seems a little fresh at this point. And like you said, they could make you certainly don't want to make the mistake of doing too much, certainly within the first film if you're trying to reintroduce. But then again, I mean, what other version of Superman are you going to tell? I mean, I think that maybe they're banking on, they don't have to, since Superman is kind of like a known commodity. Maybe they think they don't have to go back and tell an origin story, at least not all of it. Maybe bits and pieces and flashbacks, but they don't have to go all the way back like before.
On the scene when he calls his dog Crypto and pulls him away, this actually happens in the comic books.
Mm-hmm.
So that is legit. Now, before we go, I want to ask you this question here. Who is your favorite Superman? Your Mount Montaz or whatever you want to call it.
Wow. I mean, obviously, I would have to say Christopher Reeve, but again, Man of Steel, Henry Cavill, I thought he did a really good. The first movies, I thought he did a really good job. with that. But I mean, I would have to put those on the top. But look, I like Brandon Routh. You know, maybe it might have been a little bit too rom-com for me in terms of Superman Returns, but I thought they could have did a lot with him if he was given a chance in a sequel.
It was a very bad script. That's what it was. It wasn't the actor. It was a script.
Yeah, but I thought he could have been, another good one. But yeah, I mean, it's one thing to produce the film, and again, Man of Steel, great job with introducing, the Kryptonian world or whatnot. It was certainly the most alien of the films out of the Superman franchise. And I thought they did a really good job of sort of fleshing out and a reimagining of the character. So yeah, I mean Henry Christopher again, even Christopher Reeve. Obviously the first film just kind of takes you by surprise. And even the second one, I mean, when I look at the films now, they look a little bit dated, obviously with the special effects and everything. And the Christian Bale was the best Batman. I may have to agree with that. Yeah, I certainly agree with that. But again, the writing, I mean, this the Nolan treatment of it, I thought was definitely top notch. But we got to save some of this for the Hangout show. So again, Saturday nights on the Sparta HQ Network, we have the Hangout show where we talk about a lot of these film properties and whatnot, and who's the better and things of that nature. But I think we're kind of at having that at the end of the show. But again, I'm just very pleased that we've been able to take this ride, and it's been a good ride. Not only just what we've been able to do with the show, we've been able to meet up personally, and I definitely think our personal relationship has certainly added a lot of value to the show. I've got to do this. Yeah, I went to my first Comic-Con this year, which was certainly a treat. In fact, even today, I was kind of twirling with my lightsaber a little bit, trying to learn some spin moves on it.
There's some videos online how to spin it.
There are, but it's like you go, yeah. So I'm trying to get a little more proficient at some things, but definitely again, it's been a good ride for this year, and again, once again, we're thankful for those who decide to take this ride with us. Thank you for the Black Man Unfiltered Network and everything that he does. Again, Black Man Unfiltered Network provides content 7 days a week in these spaces, and always looking to give people opportunities to shine in these spaces and a platform to bring a variety of content to this place. So again, we appreciate the platform that he brings and that he's allowed us to flourish in. And again, so we're just going to look forward to what happens in the new year. So that's all I got for tonight, but I'll let my partner in crime have the last word. And but again, it's been a great ride, buddy, and certainly it's been good to know you and hang out with you. So it's been a blessing.
Guys, let's see you guys next year. Get ready for an even more crazier ride. Tune in, because we're dropping bombs next year. Get ready. Accept that. As always, stay safe, stay fresh. I'll see you guys on the next one.
Take care, guys. See you next day. See you next year. Happy New Year. Be safe. God, take care. God bless.
This is Sparta!
All right, guys, another one in the books. Another great episode on the Black Man Unfiltered Network. Listen, we're doing the thing over here. So, guys, do me a favor. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button. Also, if you want to donate to the channel, which helps the channel, hit your boy Cash App. It's scrolling right here, right there, at the bottom of the screen, and support the channel. But we're happy that you're here, and we look forward to seeing you on every episode. So hit the notification button so you know when we go live. Thank you again, guys, for watching. We out.